Hello everybody, hope your night is going well. This is Minecraft Alpha 1.1.2_01. It is almost 15 years old. That's crazy. Here I am still playing it. This is my corporate garden area. Corporate as in we've got some skyscrapers. I'm still working on that one. And then we have this beautiful garden between them. I love making gardens like this. Although this area is a bit restrictive since I kind of hollowed out a basin. There are these walls that kind of keep this garden in from getting any larger than it is. One day, I think I'd like to make a much larger garden / custom forest. Making use of trees like this. This is one of those large oak trees, but I grew it high up. See, I forced it to grow this tall by planting a sapling on a floating block of dirt and then putting these slabs around it like this. It's actually pretty difficult to do because one, there's no bone meal, and two, it may just not work. The game may try to grow it and see that it's impossible due to whatever. I don't know exactly what causes it. In this case, I think that maybe these blocks are too close by. But even so, it takes a long time for these to actually grow, and it may not grow at all. So there's no way for me to really tell if it'll work or not. I have a few of these tall trees in here. There's one. This is another one that kind of failed. It became one of these failed large oak trees. People used to call these balloon trees back in the day. They just spawn a single branch. It just looks like a ball at the end of a stick. I'm keeping it though. Here are two of them over here. These are some of the best ones. This one has some nice defined branches. And more importantly, they have a pretty large canopy, but they give tons of space to build and walk around it underneath. Really nice vibes. Anyway, more recently I was chipping away at this building over here. Let's take a look on the inside. This is meant to be the corporate office of this center, and I just spent a lot of time hollowing it out completely. Now I'm trying to figure out the floor plan, specifically the stairwell. I want this stairwell to be in the very center of this build. If you've ever been to any construction sites or maybe even played any first-person shooter maps, you know that unfinished buildings, the elevator shaft is one of the first things that they put in the building. So I was going to put this stairwell in the center, and I was trying to figure out, like, how do I do this? Because I need to take the player up 5 blocks, but this is an even length width here. So I don't really know what to do. I'm going to have to think about this a little bit more. Oh yeah, the other thing is the outside of this building has lots of pillars and lots of glass like this, and I think that's kind of cool because you look at it from here, you can't really see inside. You know, it seems like the windows are a lot smaller from this perspective than it does from in here, and the reason that is because I lined this entire wall with glass. Originally, I was going to fill in these spots behind these pillars with stone. That was my goal, and then leave glass between them so you can see outside. But then I realized I could do a kind of almost optical illusion effect by having an entire glass wall while just having the pillars on the outside. So the outside, it looks like the windows are a lot smaller than the inside. When you're in here, it feels a lot more open. At least it does to me. And this is a trick I've kind of used in the past in some of my other builds. You know, Alpha allows for a completely different building palette. Pretty soon I'm going to need to make a trip to the tree farm, which is kind of far away. But I need more logs, especially when I'm going to build these other floors and the stairwell. Okay, I started building this stairwell, but then I realized that I want this to be kind of separated in its own little room. So if this was the case, then I still wanted to have a way to get around it. I have to put a wall right here and a wall right here. And that doesn't really leave a lot of room, so I need to rethink this. I think I might turn this 90 degrees and have it go up a different way. That's kind of my train of thought at the moment, which means I gotta take down this thing, and, you know, that may not sound like a big deal, but consider the following. If I break a stone slab block in Alpha, I just get one back. If I break a wood stair in Alpha, I get a wood block back, and that's technically a loss. Also, I'm breaking it with my sword because it breaks all blocks slightly faster, and the axe doesn't work on it. So yeah, there's some stuff in Alpha you just want to be careful with. Let me craft some more stairs up here. You know what? The crafting recipe for stairs should only be like this. It should just be like that. I'm pointing at the screen right now. You can't see me, but I am. I'm pointing right here. 1, 2, 3. That's all it should be. And it should give you 4 stairs. Think about it mathematically, okay? A stair is 3/4 of a block. It's a block with a section taken out of. But the current stair recipe, when you craft them, it takes 6 and you get 4. You take a 33% loss. If it was like this, like I'm saying, then the math would make sense. You would get 4 blocks of stairs. For all the quarter chunks that are taken out of these blocks, that would be 3/4 chunks. You could make another single stair with those 3/4 chunks. We have 3 blocks. A stair is 0.75 of a block. If If you divide 3 by 0.75, then you get 4. So yeah, I think 3 blocks should make 4 stair blocks. Also, this makes more sense as a visual recipe because it's like 2 steps, and a single stair block is just 2 steps. Not 3 like how the recipe is at the moment. With stone cutters in modern Minecraft, you get a little bit of a better transaction, but it's still not fair in my opinion. Anyway, that's kind of my obscure criticism of the game. I have a lot of little criticisms of Minecraft. It's out of love, I promise. 4 blocks wide is what I want. I would hope this is enough to take you up a single flight. It's gonna be longer than this though, isn't it? I think this is how wide I want this stairwell to be. So if I had a stair block there, stair there, that would get me up to the next floor. I would have 2 more blocks to walk with. I have plenty of space on this side. Yeah, this works, this works. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Kinda want slabs to be underneath the stairs, so let's do that. You know, I would be cool if there was an elevator instead of stairs, like an actual elevator. But realistically, there's not many options for making elevators in this version of the game. There's boat elevators making them go up water, and that's fun. You could do ladders, obviously. But I mean, what corporate office makes you climb to your story? I would hope not many. Speaking of criticisms of the game, there was this one time I looked up some C418 music, and I found a post from, I think it was 2010 or 2011. I heard a chicken lay an egg. Where are you? There he is. Eggs don't do anything. But anyway, someone was uploading some of the music because it had just been added to the game at that point. And it had only been viewed like 100 times. There were some comments, and a lot of the comments were complaining. They were saying that the game didn't need music or it ruined the vibes or whatever. That is one of the most probably controversial criticisms of the game that you could make. Because at this point in history, C418's music is just beloved, you know? Is it beloved or beloved? Wait, beloved? Beloved? I think I've always said beloved, but now I'm not sure. Did I say beloved before? It's been appreciated. Look at this, double eggs. Oh my god, triple eggs. Dang. Anyway, people really like his music. It's grown on a lot of people, you know, it's a part of a lot of people's childhoods. Obviously, there's a massive nostalgia factor. I think his music is just uniquely good. I listen to a lot of his other stuff outside of the Minecraft album. His album 1 is really fantastic. 418, another one of my favorites. And also the tracks that just aren't included in the game but are part of Volume Alpha and Beta are really good as well. I recommend that you check them out. My favorite has got to be Excuse. You know what, I'll play that right now. I'll switch the music over. This is one of, if not my favorite track from C418. It's not in the game, it's in Volume Alpha. And I just wish there was more like it, but I've asked people, you know, like any music you can find that's like this, and there's just not any. It's very unique. It has a very unique vibe. Nothing really matches it anymore. Look, and I'm not even listening to it right now. I'm putting it in post, but I'm thinking about it, and I get chills a little bit. Something about it. I don't know. Maybe that sounds kind of lame, but it just gives me a different feeling. People will call it liminal. I don't know if I would call it that. I think the term liminal is a little overused these days. I don't know what it reminds me of, and I don't know what his inspiration was when he made it, but it is an amazing song. Oh man, I just realized we have an issue here. Oh no. That's not good. Alright, we have a little bit of a problem. I have this stairwell coming up right here, and that brings us really, really close to this boat launching system, which that doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. This is an Eats road. It was designed by Ethos Lab, way back in the day. It's an alternative to minecarts. It's a lot cheaper because it requires no iron. I made one in my world that helps me travel to a strip mining base. Anyway, it's kind of a weird contraption. This is definitely a Minecraft alpha redstone contraption. What happens when I get in this boat, it activates this pressure plate right here, opening this door. That door opens, allowing this boat to flow through. There are blocks holding this boat in place, stopping it from bobbing up and down, so it can pick up speed quickly. Let me just get in it. At the other end of this boat road is a contraption that's exactly the same. It has a boat sitting in it as well. So when I arrive at that other end, I hit one of these pressure plates. I think it's this one over here. I hit this pressure plate, and that activates the door, which opens this, releasing the boat that's there while I arrive. So that way, there's always one boat on either end of the station. Let me get in it and I'll show you what I mean. It's definitely one of my favorite ways to travel, and I made this one using some ice freezing mechanics. So when you freeze and unthaw ice, when it turns into water, it doesn't update. So that means I was able to kind of manipulate the game into having all this floating water. Now, it wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't easy. But was it worth it? Yes. It's a pretty cool gimmick. I like how it's very minimalist. There's a lot of ways to do it, but I just want to see if I can try this out. Anyway, here's the other mechanism. You'll see that boat just got released. And now it's going to the other end of the station. So yeah, that's how this works. Anyway, I'm just going to head right back. This is my painting museum. There's another boat road over there, but it's a little bit more standard. Let's get in here. Anyway, I need to change the stairwell. I think, flip-flop it, or like reverse it. That's fine. But it is in the way. Dang, I have to think about that. Maybe I need to redo the entire thing. I would hope not. But I also need to change this mechanism because while it's functional, it's ugly. It doesn't look very good. And it's pretty clearly taking up some space that I don't want it to take up. That'd be interesting if instead of just coming straight out and turning around, the boat turns around and goes in a loop and then appears in a spot that makes it really easy to board. And has like nice presentation and everything. I think that'd be pretty cool. I'm gonna have to move this stairwell and I've already placed so many of these blocks, stairs and slabs. It happens, you know? It's just a part of playing this version. Alright, I think first thing I need to do before I do anything with the stairs, because this is really in the way, I traced it out up here. And it's pretty big. I think it needs to be downsized one way or another. Regardless of that, this needs to be shrunk or changed or something. So I'm going to take this apart right now. And it may be a little bit difficult because I feel like I don't have all my brain right now, but we're going to try it. Now, I can't remove all of this water. And that's because if I remove that one, it'll update that block down there, which will cause it to flow. It's perfectly held in place because I had this flow on top of an ice block, walled off the sides, melted that ice, which turned it into water that didn't update, and then I broke the blocks on either side of it. That's kind of an ordeal, and then also, if I were to break this, I need to put ice back there. I need sky access, so I'd have to remove part of the roof and the glass here. That one's staying. That one can go. Over here, this one can go. I'm gonna break all this glass, and you guys are gonna hate me, because I can't get it back. It's a big day for irreparable damage in the awful world. Ugh. Yeah, I think pressure plates, you'll only get them back if you break the block underneath them. But same problem, it's a trade-off, you know, do I sacrifice one slab to break these slab blocks? Or do I just sacrifice the pressure plate? And in this case, I think I'm gonna sacrifice the pressure plate. It's a little cheaper. Crazy how that works, huh? You know, I make this sound pretty tedious, but alpha mechanics are actually pretty fun. This is not a thing you can really do anymore in some of the modern versions. At least not in this style. Redstone's very limited. You really kind of have to stretch your imagination to make things work. And I like that. That's one of the reasons I play this instead of the standard modern Minecraft playthrough. I never played Alpha 1.1 until a year or two ago. Never touched it. Never played it as a kid. Nothing. I started on release 1.5. I wanted to try this out. I'm still here. I think it's been 9 months I've been playing this world, so it's going pretty good. Yo, I would love to do a world tour one day. Anyway, let's think about this. Boats are really finicky. That's one thing you need to know. If I were to make a pathway here that, I don't know, suddenly changed its direction, let's say, I don't know, like this, okay? Oh, not like that. Oh, hey! Oh, he can't reach me. I wonder if he'll fall down there. Oh, come closer. Oh! Ha! Oh, he lived! Oh, that's not good. Oh, aw, man. Bow spam. I love bow spam. You know, I suppose while I'm down here, I should really dump some of the stuff off. Let's take a short tour of these buildings. Alright, up through here, we have the minecart station. Anyway, up through here, we have, I guess, part of the industrial complex, because this whole thing is here to support the quarrying operation. You know, I'm doing pretty good. I'm mining this out. This is a way to get a large amount of stone, because stone is one of the things I build with the most. Some people have asked me, why don't you just use a cobblestone generator? My answer to that is that it's boring. You know, it's really boring to do that. Just sit in one spot and just mine cobblestone over and over again. Also, I'm not going to say this is necessarily faster, but mining stone on its own is faster. It's faster, slightly, than mining cobblestone. Oh, I forgot I had eggs in my crafting inventory. That makes a full 64 egg stack. That's another thing you only see in Alpha. While I'm down here, why don't I kill some of these pigs that keep spawning around here? This is Monster's oak smoked pork. I like to use oak wood to cook pork. See, I have 4. One block of planks can cook slightly more than a single item. So sometimes I try to time myself to see if I can conserve as much planks as possible when cooking. Because you can only do 1 at a time. These aren't stackable. Like very quickly switching these out. Osu players hate me. I remember when I was younger, there was a pretty popular t-shirt going around, a Minecraft merchandise t-shirt, and it was I heart Minecraft, but instead of a heart, it was a raw pork chop. And I think that shirt was being sold back when food still wasn't stackable. It even used this old texture that people don't use anymore. I remember seeing that around when I was younger and being confused because I didn't play Minecraft when food wasn't stackable. I never was around for that era. I mean, I was alive, I just wasn't playing it. But yeah, that's a reference kind of to the pre-adventure update era of the game. Anyway, let's head up here. I was making some kind of point about this. I think it was... Yeah, if I wanted to have a boat come in through here, like, and change directions, I may not be able to do that because colliding immediately with a wall can sometimes be dangerous. You know, it can make the boat break, and we don't want to do that. We have to be careful. At the same time, I think I can make this so it's a lot more efficient. I could change things up here. The stairwell's right here. That's definitely going to change. I'm probably going to make that a lot smaller because that's just in the way. Call me crazy. What if I had the boats come around right here and then you'd go back through that way? It's not an easy one. Let me try this. I would think that you could hold, well, not like that. You could hold a boat in place via a door, like this. So imagine your boat is held right here, and then this opens, and then you get along your way. That could be possible, you know? That could be... It could be. I don't know. Oh yeah, and also, I gotta change the hinges at which these swing. Doors are a little bit more finicky in alpha, so the way that they open when powered by redstone is completely directional. It's just different. Anyway, let's try it. Let me put some blocks here to force the hinge of the door to be on one side. Right here and right there. Okay. So doors have a little bit trouble when they're backwards like this. Let me get some torches. The double door stuff, which I didn't even think of, is pretty bugged. Like, they both just closed. You saw that. Perhaps I need to move these in a way that they're not actually next to each other. So I would move them right here and right there, which might be a little difficult. I realize that this doesn't work because the boat comes through here. It would hit this door no matter which way it's opening. Alright, scrap that. Okay, so here's my thought. Instead, I want to have a single chamber on this side that you exit from, and then a single chamber on this side that you enter from. And this is kind of the way that I would make this work. Let me build it up a little bit more, and then I'll let you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I think I got something working. I have a bunch of pressure plates in here, but they should all be oriented in a way that this thing will require absolutely no redstone. And I broke some of these water streams, so I replaced them. I'll fix it later. I'll remove the dirt later. The idea is that when you're traveling through here, you're going to hit this pressure plate, which will open this door immediately. So you'll travel through into, well, this area, pass through here. These water streams are acting as a way to kind of make that block push this direction. It should push you against this door, which will be closed because you'll be on a pressure plate. This one, precisely. When you're on this pressure plate, that'll close that one door. When you exit the boat, that door will open, you'll get out. The boat will then move to this section, which is being held in place by this door. And then when you get in that boat, that pressure plate will activate, opening this door, allowing you to go freely. And also, when you're coming from this direction, you're going to hit this pressure plate, which is adjacent to this door, so whatever boat is already here will be let go. I have a feeling this isn't going to work. And maybe because of how the pressure plates are positioned, I don't know yet. So far it requires no redstone, but there's only really one way to find out. I'm going to put a boat right here. Oop. Well, we don't want it to bob like that. Okay. This time let me push it into place. Oh, that also didn't work. Okay. There's not a great way to load boats to test this thing. Let me try this, okay? Let me put a boat up here, and then I'll kind of push it this direction. See if I can get it in that water stream. Come on, boat. It's very slow, and I know in modern Minecraft it's really easy to move a boat on solid ground, which doesn't make a lot of sense in principle, but it is very difficult here. Come on, push, push, push. Whoa! Oh! Oh! Too slow. Can I break this thing? I can. Okay. Oh, get out of here. I think the doors close too slowly for me to be able to be stopped by them. At least, that's what it seems like. You know, I should probably light this place up now. So I went in here really fast, and this didn't close in time. I bet you that I won't make contact with this pressure plate, which, you know, that's totally possible because I'm more to the right, like against this side, than to the left, which means I need to have a little redstone. And I don't want to have any redstone, but, you know, here we are. Just because it'll further clutter everything. It's fine, though. All right, I'll come back to you. All right, I have a new design, but I think if I really want to properly test it, I have to come at it from all the way back here, which is a pain, but it's necessary. All right, here we go. You know, I was thinking, I can see through here because I'm inside the glass blocks. I can still see those glass blocks. If I were to fill in the gap between these two lines with glass, my view would be unobstructed, but that's very expensive. All right, you probably won't be able to tell what's happening because I'm using a lot of temporary blocks, but here we go. Why did it open? Oh, why did it open? Man, that is so hard to figure out. All right, so I got in place. It was closed, but then it opened. Why did it open? Maybe, okay, here's a thought. Perhaps my hitbox is not reaching this pressure plate. It's only reaching that block right there. And that's why it stays closed for a moment, and then it opens right back up. This is going to take some serious rethinking. All right, here we come again. Wait a minute. I think this works. There's not a boat right there, but if there was... Ah, shoot. Too good to be true. I've reassessed my entire thinking on this project. I think it might be better if this came all the way out here, turned around, and then went back. The reason I think that is because I have to have room for this stairwell, right? Well, what if I put our stairwell right here instead of over here, okay? I made it a lot smaller. I'll tell you why in a minute. But if I put it right here, and then I have our eats road looping around right behind it, imagine there's a stairwell entrance right here. To the right, I can get on the boat and go on my way. To the left is where I exit the boat. Maybe you can see what I'm getting at here. But yeah, I'm gonna change it. And instead of stairs, I was thinking kind of while I was building this, I'm not sure I want stairs at all. Reason being, I want a way that I can really quickly get up and get back down. Because once I arrive here, I want to get mining as soon as possible. I need to get over there, where all my stuff is and where the quarry is. So I'm thinking I'm gonna change this up, and I'll show you what I mean in a moment. Okay, now it's gonna be more like an elevator shaft, and it's gonna be right here. That's not quite in the center of the building, but honestly, I don't care. I think it's gonna look good, so that's fine. But I gotta remove these stairs, which is a little bit of a pain, but oh well. You know, I don't think I really got to finish my thought earlier. I was talking about how some people criticized C418's music when it very first was added to the game. And I thought that was really interesting, because we all like it now. That's pretty much the one thing nobody dislikes about Minecraft, is the music. But when it was new, people didn't like it. When any feature was new, people didn't like it. I just found that interesting. Music really was kind of a novel idea for the game at the time. C418's music is really specific. Because we've just listened to it so much, it seems inseparable from the concept of Minecraft. But it's really specific, it's really melodic. A lot of the music being made nowadays, you know, I don't even know all the artists. I know that there's a lot more. Like Aaron Cheroff, Lena Rain, there's some more, I can't remember. Their music is more atmospheric, I guess. It's meant to just evoke a feeling, you know, or a vibe or a mood. Whereas C418's music was really melodic and really specific. Alright, well, now I have this going on here. I'm probably gonna need some more smooth stone. I got kind of fascinated with this idea of like really obscure criticisms of the game, because come on, who would tell you that C418's music should be removed? Who would tell you that these days? Nobody. I found this really interesting, so what I did is I started kind of doing a little bit of research out of curiosity. I went to the Minecraft forums, I looked through old posts, I searched the word criticism, I found some really interesting stuff. There were people who were mad, I think in 2016, when Mojang added hearts to the game. The hearts that appear when you hit something, a mob. You know, if you do a critical hit or just a normal hit or something, I don't really remember, it displays like heart particles. I guess to tell you how much damage you're doing, I don't really know. But there were people criticizing that who said it made the game infantile. There was a lot of people who hated on 1.3 because it caused a lot of lag, apparently. Something about the internal server. I went even further than that, and I want to do more research on the topic. I started making a list of every obscure criticism of the game that I could possibly find, and I came up with a few. I know people were really upset when beds were added, although that one has kind of received some more attention recently. Dalka made a video about how beds should be endgame items, and I think that he's pretty much right. I'm not saying Mojang should change what they've already got, but I think it's a good idea. One of the reasons I like Alpha is that there are no beds. You know, I do kind of have more incentive to not die, purely based off of the fact that if I die, it's going to be a lot harder to get back to wherever I was because I can't set my spawn. Some people were really mad when wolves were added, so much so that it spun an entire total conversion mod called Better Than Wolves. You might have heard of that. I've never played it myself. There are people who are mad when villagers were added. You know, I just spoke to a guy who told me that he was upset about how block states were added. Instead of using block ID or metadata, he was upset that block states were added to the game, which I found fascinating. I have another channel where I more talk about old Minecraft instead of just do gameplay. I think that one day, if I ever had the time, I'd like to do a compilation of all the oldest, the most random, the most obscure criticisms of the game that I can find. I just find it really interesting. Anyway, for now, I'm going to put a ladder here, but that's not the end goal. Let me just finish up this elevator shaft and also kind of work on some of these floors as well. Alright, this is what I have so far. Check this out. This is our elevator shaft. Well, it will be. This is our first floor. This thing has 4 floors so far. Pushing it back a little bit towards this end of the building has actually given us a lot of nice space that I like. I like it a lot. What I'm going to put on every one of these floors, I don't know. Probably just offices. But at the moment, my main focus is right here. So far, I just have a very normal ladder here. Ladders can be put every other block in older versions of the game. But for now, I'm going to have this be the way up, and this be the way down. I think down here, I'm going to do the same thing with ladders. I'm going to put a ladder here. Okay. One there, and one there. So when I want to go down, I just get on the ladder, fall, and I'm at the bottom. But let's say, I don't know, I want to go to floor 2. I don't want to go to floor 1. It should be pretty simple. I just get on, and then here we are. Floor 2. Easy, right? This is how I get up, but that's about to change because there's an easier way to do this, and it involves boats. I need to craft a few more, I think, to make this work. So back in the day, people used to make elevators and fast travel methods using boats. Basically what you would do, you'd have one boat somewhere and then another boat another place, and you'd get one boat and you'd click the other boat and you'd instantly move there. I can't move back. That's concerning. I think I'm sitting on this end of the boat. Alright, but you get my point, right? Move from here to there, instantly. Anyway, the same thing can go for vertically. My goal is to drop a boat, I think right here. So let me remove that ladder entirely. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I think I could just push it. Can I? Well, that doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. I know this is possible, okay? Oh. Alright. Let's make a few here, because this may get kind of messy. I guess, you know, I've never watched people make these. I just kind of assumed I could figure it out on my own. I still think I can. The boat just needs to go right there. I think I need to make use of temporary blocks, like this. Okay, and then I'll go underneath. Okay, well, I think I'm on the right track. I can't reach that, though. Not from down here. Let's break that. Put a dirt block there. And then to make sure that when I remove that dirt block, it doesn't fall, I'm going to put dirt around it. Because I think the hitbox is slightly larger than a single block. And then I'll... Ah, shoot. I was in the way. Okay, boom. I think that's what we want. Okay, it stays up. The ladder's keeping it up there. Boom, look at that. Okay. Look at that. Up at the next floor. Pretty nice. I don't really like the Z fighting, but I think that's just a part of it, right? So yeah, if I just want to get to the next floor, boom, I'm there. We run into a small issue right here because, you know, when I'm sitting here, I probably won't be able to reach the next floor. So I'm going to have to put a boat probably between it, and that's fine. But down here, I don't need to. I can just leave this one like it is. So since I'm going to put a boat there, that makes this whole thing pretty simple. Oh, I accidentally hit it. So when I come up, yeah, I can't hit it. It's too far. Since these floors are 4 blocks tall, you know, it's going to be a little bit difficult. That's okay. I think I'll put it right here because, you know, when I'm in here, I'll have to be able to get out and walk out without bumping the boat above me. Man, I hope I can do this without it being weird. Okay, just like that. Break. All right, here's the question. If I get out of this boat, will it knock that one around? No, it won't, but I think if I... Yeah. It's too vulnerable. That's not good. What if I have ladders holding it in place? Can I do that? Shoot. Shoot. There we go. Perfect. I'm sure if I hit this, it'll still move. Yep. I don't like that. That's concerning. What do I do? What do I do about that? I could, instead of having these in the middle, I can move this to the corner. And then I could have blocks protecting it. I still could over here, right? It's just kind of in the way. If I shove it in the corner, it's a little bit easier to manage. I think I'm going to do that. Oh no, I'm going to have to replace so many slabs. It's a work in progress. I don't really mind. I mean, this version of the game is slow. I don't mind that. I just like to do a little bit every day. Slowly but surely, I'm going to reach my goals, and then I'm going to set new ones. I mean, I'm in no rush, is what I'm trying to say. I kind of have to totally break this thing to pieces, just because of the nature of slab placing. If I want to put a full block of slabs right here, I may have mentioned this before, I can't place a slab block right there. If I want it to be consistent, I'm going to have to remove the one on top, just because that's how slab placement works in old versions. It has to have a block of air above the slab to make it into a full block. And if I want to replace this one, I have to break this stone block. There we go. Now it's the way that I want it. Now we have a hole in the corner. And so on and so forth with this whole thing. Alright, so the first boat, as I talked about earlier, is going... Well, I need to make more now. Right, shoot. Right there. Break the dirt, place a ladder, there we go. Now I gotta put one right here. Can I place... Wait, I can't place blocks around this now, can I? Nope, boat's hitbox is too big. I have to do the blocks first. Boom. Wait, how do I get out of here? That's interesting. Look at that, I got stuck in the slabs. No, this isn't gonna work. Shoot. For some reason it's going on top of these blocks. I should probably use a different block entirely. Let me use cobblestone. Why not? Let's use cobblestone. Okay, that fits. Which means I can break this, put a ladder there, break this, call it good. Alright, let's try it out. Okay, I can get out without bumping this. Perfect, that's exactly what I need. And then this next one needs to be placed. Alright, so I start from down here, click up, boom. I just went 2 stories. Alright, let me do the rest. Okay, I think we're done. Alright, this goes all the way to the top floor now. Let's see how quickly I can get to floor 4. Boom! That is so much faster than stairs. That's awesome. I don't think this will work in a real life office building, but here we go. This is how we get down. A little slower. That's so cool, though. You're just limited to how fast you can click. Isn't that neat? Awesome. Very excited about that. Now that I have this, I guess, elevator shaft in place, I can finish this thing. And there should be perfectly enough room to do it, now that I've kind of figured out what I want to do. Okay, in case what I was saying before didn't make sense, this is what I meant. I want this boat to come all the way around to the end and loop back. So, let's look over here. I want the boat to stop here when you want to get off. And then I want it to come over to here when you exit the boat and it's ready to enter on this side. I can pretty easily control this. Now I might as well get this started. You know, I didn't even think about how this wall is going to be here. This wall over here is going to be pretty much solid stone. Let me remove these. And then right here, I need some kind of block. Otherwise, this is going to shoot out this way. There we go. That's better. All right, so the boat will come down, loop around. I want it to first stop right here. And I want it to be a natural stopping point. That's the other thing. So, if I place the door with... Oh, no. Oopsies. Let me fix this really quickly. I place a block right here. It goes down. Oh, is this going to be a problem? This might be an issue. Change the plan. The door being right here would update this water stream, causing it to flow backwards. So I need to, I think, put it right here instead. Like this. So when I come this way, I should make some kind of contact with this. But even if I don't, that's fine. Let's say, right here is where I make contact. If my boat's right there, that door will stay closed. When I exit that boat, that door will open. And I'll continue on this direction. The boat will arrive down here. I need to have something that stops it down here as well. So probably a very similar situation. Like this. Yep. Yeah, that's the thing about boats in this version. You never know how, if the way you place them is going to put them into a powered or unpowered position. In this case, when I placed it, it was like this. But it was actually in a powered position. When I take away a redstone current, it goes this way. You know, it's just based on which X or Y axis you're facing, that kind of thing. Or a Z. This needs to be in a state of being closed at all times. So when this boat is released, it'll come down here and get stopped by this boat. So I need a redstone torch incorporated here somehow. Alright, here we go. I think I have it set up properly in the other end, so let's give it a go. I am pretty sure I thought of everything in this one. There's a little bit of redstone in use, but it's okay. Why am I being pushed out? This is not what we want. That's not what we want. Oh no. I think I had too much momentum in this direction. I think all I have to do is replace this with a block. I think that's it, and I'll be good. Man, well that means I gotta start again. I don't want to do that. Let's see if I can just pretend that I came from that direction, kind of. Alright, come on, come on. What? Ow. Oh, right. Okay. Well, I guess we're going back. That's fine. We'll go all the way back and then we'll come forward and then we'll have a proper test, I suppose. Anyway, a few days ago, I was outside with my mother. We were gardening some flowers or something. And I saw this little bird walking around outside. It was gray, had a white stripe on its wings, a little bit of black. It's called a killdeer. And they're neat little birds. They're noisy. They kind of walk around more than they fly. Anyway, they lay their eggs on little depressions in the ground, and this one killdeer was just staying in this same spot on my driveway and not moving. Anytime I got close, it would puff up its feathers. I actually took a video. Yeah, it would puff up its feathers, tweet at me and everything, and I'm like, what's going on? I came back there a little later, and it had laid 2 eggs on my driveway, the worst possible spot it could have laid eggs. They're really cute. They're about 1.5 inches long, I think. And it just kept staying in that spot, you know, protecting its eggs, screeching at me if I came near. Eventually I went there and they were gone. I had thought about moving them, but I think some predator took the opportunity before I could. Anyway, I love birds. I really love birds. They're super cute. Here we go. Please work. Ah! Alright. Ah! Face through the floor. Okay. Okay, so an adjustment needs to be made. That adjustment being, this needs to, I think, activate this door a little bit earlier on. You know, because by the time I get here and the time that door shuts, I'm already kind of through it, which means my entire body in the boat is going to phase through that door. That's not good. We don't want that. We're in a bind. I don't know how to prevent it. Let me think about this for a minute. Okay, this is kind of a long shot, but I think I can preemptively close the door. So when I'm coming in this way, I can hit that pressure plate. That'll close the door. And then when I come around, hopefully it stays closed long enough. I don't know. I don't know. I may have to do that one. But that's obviously a little hard to reach. I'd have to go underneath. I'm not opposed to doing that. It's just I don't really want to. I really don't want to walk all the way back. Let's make a new boat. That was interesting. You see that? Oh, it's going underneath all of them. Look at that. If the boat goes underneath all the blocks, but not any of the items. How about that? That is so weird. Okay. Alright, go, go, go. Oop. Nope. Ow. No, that's not gonna work. Alright. Okay, I think I have a better idea. It's gonna involve removing this, putting that there, putting a brand new pressure plate right there. I gotta remove this one, which is gonna mess things up a little bit. I'm gonna put it right there, and then when I hit that, it should activate the door. Oh shoot, you know, this is in the way. That's not good. So the question is, how do I prevent that from happening? I want this pressure plate to power this door. May have to go underneath. That may just be what I have to end up doing. Say that powers that one. Building redstone lines with slabs is really inefficient, but I am committed to the aesthetic. Say, redstone torch there. Another redstone torch needs to go here. Like that. And that torch has to power this block. You know what? It could go here instead. Nope, it can't go there. Unless I change this block to just a slab. That way, that signal won't travel through the full block and power this redstone. I'm onto something here. And then all I gotta do, I think, is this. And boom, I think we're in business. I don't mind it being a little bit messy now because I have everything in the place that I want it to be. Just put that right there, okay. So when I come in, I'm gonna hit that. It's gonna open that door. Hopefully that gives us enough time, just barely, to be stopped by this thing. Get over. Oh, no! Huh. Clutch. Alright, alright. This way. No. No! Okay. That's really sad. This is a tough one, man. Let me figure this out. Oh my gosh, I just realized something so stupid. You can get slabs back by mining them with a pickaxe. I've been mining them with my fists and destroying them the entire time. You see, I lose them when I do this. When I do it with the pickaxe, I get it back. Why? I don't know. Probably because it borrows the code from the stone pressure plates. Now that I know it, I'm going to make heavy use of that. Alright, this should now be completely functional. I've tested it a few times. I haven't tested it yet with multiple boats, but I have pretty good faith in it. This end of the boat road never had a problem. I'll show you why. It's just the pressure plate that boat is on right now that'll activate that door. I mean, I don't think you can see it, but there's a pressure plate on that block. Activates the redstone dust, inverts that torch, opening the door, and sends it on its way. And then when you come from this direction, you hit that pressure plate, which activates that redstone, inverts the exact same torch, inverts that torch, opening that door, releasing the boat that's already here. There's some science to protect water from flowing onto it. Alright, let's try this out. Here we go. So far, so good. There's a pig climbing on that tree. When I get down to this end, the boat that's down here should release. Alright, here we go. What? Oh, no. Did I get stuck right there? What on earth? I got stuck right there. Okay, well, that's... How do I get out of this? We're gonna do some emergency maneuvers here. Ladder. That means that the boat was pushed over too far to the right, and then it hit that block. Alright, I have faith that that's not gonna be a reoccurring issue. I think it might have been just how I loaded the boats down there. I hope. Let's load a brand new boat. I'm gonna grab some glass really quickly. I don't think I've been here yet in this video. This is my painting museum. Whenever I get that final room completely finished, that room that we keep coming to from the boat road, I want it to be like a nice little station area. Once that's completely finished, I would like to do a tour of this thing. like just this structure itself, because it's already pretty detailed. But there's a lot I still want to add to it. All right, glass. We have 3 stacks over here. I might have some more in the other place as well. All right, let's climb in this boat. Okay, moment of truth. There's a boat right there. It gets released. We get put in place. Let me exit. Nice. Now if I, suddenly wanted to go back, I could hop in and it'll take us down. I just want to make sure I don't have this same exact problem again. If I do, that's bad. All right, please, 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 please. Ah, you kidding me? All right, thankfully I think I know how to fix this. I think the fix for this is a little bit crude, but it goes like this. Let me destroy this block and put a ladder there. If I put that ladder there, that has a tiny hitbox, so perhaps it'll push the boat out some when it hits that wall. That's my thought anyways. It's gonna take a little bit more testing. Okay. Nope. That's not, yeah, we don't want that. Now I'm wondering if I can replace this pressure plate with a ladder and get away with it. Can I do that? Oh, why is this? Oh no! Oh, I'm stuck here. No, I'm not. Okay, well. Ah! Oh no. Oh, it snowed on top of that block and it updated the water. Okay, there's the moon. This works now. I tested it even more times. I promise it works. Alright, let's check it out. The fix really was just those ladders. Come down here. Scoot right past like I'm covered in butter. Get back in the boat. Here we go. This is actually making me dizzy. Oh my goodness. Jeez, that had a real effect on me. I've been playing this for too long. I've actually played on this world for 9 months. If I had gotten pregnant back then, I would have given birth at this point. Alright, here we go. That boat's released. Smooth like butter. There we go. We're done. I mean, with this system. Good lord. It took way too long. There's some redstone underneath here. Over here, I gotta remove all these extra blocks. I have to melt this ice. Remove all the dirt that I have underneath here. Remove that. Remove that. Perfect. I think this section of the building, this back section, this is going to be something like a maintenance room of some kind. For now, this is it. The fully functioning thing. This works. I'm going to call it good on this contraption. I think I just want to finish decorating this building. Alright, well, let's say that this right here is our last post. Fill in the stone right here. Oh, alright, the back wall. Alright, this is this floor complete, I guess. I mean, structurally. This floor is missing a lot of glass. I know just the thing. More glass. Alright, that's floor number 2 all done. I don't have enough stone for floor number 3. Oh no. I need to start some new pillars because this land is exposed. That was the last of my slabs. Alright, let's get some more. What? This tree has some abnormal growth. I probably just cut a tree that was right next to it. You know, it's so weird. I remember when there was literally nothing here. I probably have video proof of it. There was nothing here. This place has really developed quite a lot. I have become Steve. Bringer of stone. Yeah, sometimes I like to just shut off my Wi-Fi so my skin loads as the very classic Steve instead of my normal skin. I just like it, you know. I moved this tree again. Who knows? Maybe it'll grow this time. I just moved it by a block over to the right. Goodness gracious. Maybe I need to move it up one. It's very... Anyway, this floor is done. This floor is also done. Yep. Full walk around. Still don't know what to put in this building. This floor Need some stone. That's what it needs. Alright. I got just the thing. Here we go. I suppose while I'm doing this, I'll tell a story. There was this one time that I was invited to do a Skeppy event. And if you don't know who he is a, I don't know, he's a pretty large Minecraft YouTuber. I think he's well connected. And he hosts like player events every once in a while. Like he just makes a bunch of people fight each other or do mini games or something like that. Anyway, I was invited to one. The reason I was invited to one is because I am acquainted with a very large YouTuber. We're talking millions of subscribers. I'm not a name dropper, so I'm not going to mention who he is. But he was invited because I guess he's in that circle and he didn't feel like going. So he went to me and a few other people I know. He's like, hey, you want to take my spot? And I'm like, all right, sure. So me and a couple of other people ended up going to this event. And it was 100 boys versus 100 girls, I think. I think that's what it was. Yeah, and we had to verify ourselves, say which, are we a boy or are we a girl? One of the guys I was with had to say he was a girl because there's no more spots in the boys team, which was pretty funny because they didn't even, how are they going to verify that, Anyway, we joined in the server and it's just a big box. It is just a big box. And I've not really watched this guy since I was probably 15 or 16 years old. So I don't really know what to expect, but there's a lot of people there who I do recognize who are also in that circle. I think Bad Boy Halo was there, Mysticat was there. I don't watch them, I just know that they're famous people, I guess. I certainly don't know them. I'm just saying, this is like kind of a high profile thing. There's a bunch of other people. I don't remember anybody else besides those two names. It went something like this. There was 100 boys on one team and 100 girls on one team, and then he was just going to make us do like mini games and stuff. But I could tell he was kind of mostly coming up with it on the fly. So like first we did a bunch of parkour, and he like built some random parkour just in the arena, and we had to jump to the top. And then once we all got to the top, which he gave us way too long to do, like 10 minutes, to the point where everyone just started dicking around and like jumping off the parkour, just messing around, not really taking it super seriously, which was a bad idea because like suddenly he's like, oh, you have 1 minute to get back up. So the people who were on the ground and who were screwing around were like, oh shoot, we gotta go. He decided he was gonna eliminate everybody who didn't make it. And the way he was gonna do that was delete the floor because we were over the void. And that's what he did. Thing is, okay, one of the people that I was with was not on the parkour. She was on the ground and she was about to get eliminated, standing in about the center of the arena. Now there was one other thing. Later in the event, Skeppy was planning on doing some kind of dropper thing. He had put the dropper that he had built underneath this arena. Underneath the floor was mostly void, but in the center was the dropper that we were all supposed to go on later. And I guess he didn't think that someone might have been standing in the center when he deleted the floor. So the person I was with, she fell in there. Like, she fell in the dropper and survived the dropper course, and then crouched and pretended to not be eliminated. Eventually, we did do the dropper challenge after some other mini games had happened, and we all jumped to the bottom and she was already there, and then she was back in the race because no one had noticed that she was down there. It was crazy. Most of the event was spent waiting. There was, at one point, we were going to do a build contest, girls versus boys, and he just like, okay, start building, and nobody had any blocks, but he suddenly turned off, like, anti-break. So people started tearing apart the arena, and he got mad, and he's like, no, don't do that. He reset the arena, turned anti-break back on, and then gave us some blocks. But then, we can't place them because he turned anti-break on. So we're just sitting around, and then we did that for 5 minutes till he got confused. Like, oh, nobody's building. So turn anti-break off, and then he's like, all right, I gotta give these guys blocks, but I can't give them creative, which he also did try, and that didn't go well. And I might be getting some of this wrong. It was a while ago, and I'm out of stone. Dang it. So he just started like doing /give all random sets of blocks, logs, bark blocks, like just stairs, just random stuff. He even gave us diamonds at one point, and then people started hoarding the diamonds for the later PvP matches so they could have diamond armor. It was such a mess. And I'm like, I don't even know how this guy is making any usable footage out of this. But in the end, it didn't really matter because he did get his footage. Everyone was also supposed to record their own point of view. And, I recorded mine. I sent mine in. Everybody did, right? Mine was not used whatsoever, and I am pretty sure it's because the whole time we were just talking about how poorly run the whole thing was. So yeah, that they never made it in. A bunch of other stuff happened. I mean, the video's on YouTube, and I'm in there for like a very brief second. You can see me failing at parkour and dying and then getting eliminated. I do want to say, I am terrible at competitive Minecraft. I'm really bad at it. Like, I'm okay at build battle, but that's a different kind of competitive. You know, bed wars, the walls, the bridge, all kinds of like where you have to fight other people. I'm terrible at that. So I knew I probably wasn't going to win. I didn't think I was going to lose at parkour, but it was like one of those matrix jumps where you kind of have to, it's like this, and you have to like jump around and then, you know, make it to the other side. You can't do that in alpha because there's no sprinting. But it doesn't matter because I can't do it in modern anyways. Sprinting or no, I couldn't do it at all. So yeah, I got eliminated pretty early. This guy, you know, he just tosses like thousands of dollars at the winners. I think he did anyways. He said he was going to. I don't know if they actually got the money. I'm going to assume that they did, you know, otherwise there'd be some drama. But, you know, I don't really know. It's kind of out of my depth. Oh! Oh, man. This right here is all the stone and cobblestone that I have. That's literally all I have left. So I need to really take some time and go to that quarry and start mining again. I mean, that's why all this stuff is here, is just for that quarry. You know, it's really interesting how one structure can spawn so much stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I just built the quarry first, and then like, I should have a little building to put my chests, and then I built that thing. And then I was like, oh, well, you know, I should have a larger building, because the chests, I mean, they're not all gonna fit in that little thing. So I built that one, and I built this hallway to it. And I'm like, oh, I could put a garden right next to it. I turned that into a furnace room, and then I decided I needed a way to get here, so I built this railway from the center of my world, and then a subway station underneath there. And then I decided I needed a way to get from here to the strip mining area, so I made this eats road, and then I built this building to receive the eats road, and now I'm building this building, and I'm like, oh, there needs to be a way to connect these buildings, so I made this garden area right here. That garden area looks great. I love how that turned out. I actually really do like it. You know what? I was just thinking of this, okay? There's that sheep. There's that diagonal path right there. But imagine there's a pond right here, okay? There's a pond, and then there's a little bridge going over the pond. That could be cool, right? I think that'd be neat. Maybe I even have some kind of river. You know, that could be fun. Maybe when I'm done doing this, I'll do that. Because I didn't expect to spend so much time just trying to figure out these boats. That's okay. I mean, I don't really mind. I'm not a modern Minecraft YouTuber. I'm not like setting myself a goal to build some kind of massive farm by the end of the video. You know, I have a job, I have a life, I can't do that kind of thing. But I can just provide some commentary and then hopefully provide some relaxing alpha footage. You know, that's all I want to do, and I hope it's enjoyable. Just wish I could finish up this building. I can't though. At least I could have kept this cool floor art. I was thinking I would have to get rid of it, but nope. I made it fit. Anyway, I never got invited to another Skeppy event. Maybe that's for the best. You know, it's just an interesting experience. I may even need more logs. Goodness gracious, look at that. That's it. That's all I got. Ta-da, here we are. I want up here to be almost like a secret club or like a penthouse kind of thing. I don't know how I'm going to pull it off quite yet. A secret club, maybe this is where the corporate people, the executives hang out, or this is where the secret, you know, elites that run the entire alpha world or have their meetings, you know. Anything could happen. Who knows? I know I want to have a secret way to get up here. I already have an idea on how to do that, but I don't think I really have time left in the week to pull that off, so maybe that's going to be another time. Main reason for that is I have a wedding to go to. Yeah, my great aunt is getting married. She's 75. Better late than never. No, I'm kidding. She's been married 3 other times. But yeah, I've got a wedding to go to. All the stuff I still want to do is just going to have to wait. That's okay. That is a nice view. Wow. I mean, I never really put it together till I had the roof and the pillars and the glass. That is a nice view. I love how we're just at the top of the treetops. Look at that. And then the buildings in the distance. That's amazing. That is so cool. Oh man, I'm in love with this. That is awesome. Wow. Imagine how it looks from up there. I didn't even get a look. Alright, yeah, clearly there's a lot more to go around here. I also kind of noticed something unfortunate over here. That's if I go all the way out this way. I made this tunnel, you know, to receive the boat road, and then it gets walled off right there. But this wall is actually a block further away. That's because this section of building is an odd length while the tunnel is an even length. So it's gonna look kind of strange. I'm thinking of ways to mitigate that though, don't worry. But I'm pretty impressed with how this turned out. I think I'm gonna leave it for now. Come back to it another time when I have more resources. What? My monitor just turned off. Oh man, that is weird. Yeah, my monitor's been doing that. I was about to jump down. Ouch. Alright, I just put some stuff away. I think I'm gonna work on this pond thing right here. Ooh, and look, this tree just grew. That's convenient, but you know what isn't convenient? The fact that I have no logs. What if I just stole one from back here? Yeah, what if I just stole this one? Boom. Grew a brand new tree over here. Let's make the pond first. I want to kind of dig out where this is supposed to be. Ponds are tricky, especially in this version where, you know, you have to light it up enough so it doesn't freeze. I can do a lot underneath these trees here because I know that it won't freeze under the trees. And the leaves are cutting off sky axis from them. Something like that. That's a good pond shape, I think. I think the bottom of the pond should be gravel. Also, while I was away, I ended up making some white chai tea. You might want to correct me for calling it chai tea, but I mean that it's white tea and chai mixed, so it's white chai tea. I mean, that's what it's called. I don't know. Anyway, I never tried it before, so I brewed it at about 200 Fahrenheit. I wasn't sure if I should, you know, brew it lower because it's white tea, or if I should brew it really hot because it's chai. You know, I was a little bit confused about that. So I split it in the middle, did 200 Fahrenheit, put a lot of honey in there, put a lot of heavy cream in there. I tried it, and it's good, but it leaves a little bit to be desired. You see, it's half white tea and half chai, and it kind of tastes like it's missing the full potential of both. Like the white tea flavor isn't all the way there and the chai flavor isn't all the way there, so it's just kind of like mellowed out. It's still good, you know, probably just needs to be saved by sugar and cream. It's kind of funny, it's like they literally just mixed white tea and chai. And it looked like it had rooibos and apple pieces in it. I don't know, I didn't really memorize what was in the tea itself. I just scooped it into a bag and it looked interesting at a grocery store. Okay, I'll make this go down a little bit too. Alright, I'm gonna fill this in again and put the water layers over it. Let's just surround the edge with torches to prevent anything from freezing at the present moment. Ta-da! You know, I gotta pull over from the tea pond. While I'm here, I might as well grab these sugar canes. Yeah, this is the tea shop I just recently built. I feel like there should be more to it, but I like how it looks. Oh, that's weird. That's so weird. There used to be a pressure plate on top of this glass block out here, and now it's gone. I don't know what happened to it. It's kind of weird, right? This one's still here. I used block replacement bypass to put it there. I'll put a new one there. Might as well. I want it to kind of look like a jar, you know? Block replacement bypass. So you can place certain things where they're not supposed to go if instead of placing it in an empty spot, you replace another block with it. The only blocks you can replace in alpha are water, lava, and snow layers. So if I place water here and then very quickly switch to my pressure plate and place that, I can put this pressure plate on glass where I normally can't. Oh, but I was too slow. Okay, let's try that again. Yeah, it's a little tricky. Boom, look at that. Now we have a jar. All right, here we go. Filling up the pond. Makes me wish fishing was in the game. I mean, it is, just not this version, you know? I like fishing. I wish it was more fleshed out. I like that they made fishing more interesting. I think it was in 1.7 or 1.6, or something like that. When they made fishing a lot more like interactive. You know, they have the particles of the fish that chase your bobber and that kind of thing. You got treasure too. I mostly like that fishing was more, like they just added more stuff to fishing. But I wish there was like a serious effort to make fishing more rewarding. It'd be cool if the fish that you caught displayed lengths. And by that, I mean like you caught a fish and then in the tooltips it said, oh, this is a 6.7 incher, you know, something like that. So people would compete and see like how big of a fish they could catch and maybe even the fish length, the fish species could be completely biome dependent or environmental dependent. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen. All right, I think I'm safe to swim in here. Filled the bottom with source blocks. That's a nice looking pond. And I don't think any of it's gonna freeze, which is also nice. Let's put some reeds over here. Some flowers and stuff while I'm at it. Oh, and another thing I like to put around ponds is moss stone, which can only be found in dungeons. It's the only way to get it. There we go, add some moss stone. That needs a torch over there. I like how that looks. Let me add some more flowers and stuff around here. All right, we're cooking. Completely forgot I wanted to make a bridge through here. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Now I'm not sure where I would put that. I think I'm gonna leave it be how it is, because I just don't know where it would go. Thinking about like sight lines and stuff, if I was looking out across, that might kind of ruin the view of that building or that pond. So I think for now, bridge is gonna be an afterthought. A bridge over here would be cool, like if there was a little water stream or like an aqueduct right here. A bridge right here would be perfect. But that area still needs some work in the future. All right, there's one more thing that needs to be built. To get it out here, I'm gonna need a little bit of scaffolding, so let me do that. We're gonna need these 3 blocks. Can you tell what it is? It's a really expensive duck. Look at that. Oh man, that looks awesome. Ah man, I love how that turned out. That's so pretty. Yeah, 27 gold ingots, but it was worth it. Besides, I can't do anything with gold anyways. Look at that. The only thing we need now, I think, is like some benches or something. Let me just put like some benches right. Well, that doesn't work at all. Okay. That didn't work. Stairs are finicky. I was kind of hoping that those signs would force them to face some certain way. It didn't. It's modern art. That's what it is. There we go. Modern art. You could probably use it as a table. All right, anyway. Here's our little duck. I think with that, I am gonna bring this video to a close. Before I go, I want to thank one of my YouTube members, Donut Compositions, who bought me some tea, or donated me some and told me to try out his favorite tea. Some Irish breakfast from Harney & Sons, loose leaf. Looks super cool. I haven't opened it yet. I'm excited to try it tomorrow morning. It's a breakfast tea. Gotta have it for breakfast. But thank you very much. And speaking of my members, thank you so much to all of you, really. I mean, wow. It really helps. Pretty soon I'm going to be doing this YouTube thing full time, and your support makes it all the more possible. Plus, it means I can do this full time while still keeping sponsors completely away from my videos. I don't want them anywhere near here. So thank you so much. You're on screen right now if you're a member. I certainly appreciate it. Anyway, I can't show my face. I can do this though. Hope you enjoyed the video, and there's more to come. I've been Monster, and have a good night.